Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, December 21st, about 9:21 a.m. And as y'all know, I was up early morning working on some things and whatever. I just woke up not too long ago. Started my day, and I just recalled a dream. Um, that I think this was um, after the dream earlier this morning. But in this dream, I was in a banquet hall. There was a long table, and also, and again, I don't know why this lesbian thing keeps popping up, but in the dream, I was at a banquet hall. There was a long table, and there was initially in a part of the dream that was earlier. It was something of me moving out of the place that I was in and going to another place. Um, and it was like the owner had left me an option, kind of how I wanted to do it. Um, as I was going to the other place, though, I had like a key ring full of keys. And for some reason, it was like a car key, a house key, all these different keys. And I was walking through this area, and the keys kept like popping off. They were like the tops, instead of being really hooked on a key ring, well, they were hooked, but the top of the key ring tabs were not part of the key. It was like a little additional metal tab that had a hole in it, and they kept popping off, and the keys kept dropping. So I dropped, I think, like a car key and the key to the old room. And so um, I went through this one place, and there was like the house. The people seemed really cool, and I don't remember if it was the old place or the new place. There was like black men there, but very jovial, happy-go-lucky type of black men between the ages of, I'll say, 25 to 30. Yeah, it's correlations. But these men were not men that I would consider attractive. They were just jovial. Dark skin, kind of heavy set, kind of oval shaped, bigger in the middle, nice smiles, um, really low cut hair. And they were working in a part, it was a house. And when you walk through the house, they had this part, the house had little like shavings of wood everywhere. I'm not sure what the wood shavings were all about, but they were all over the floor and all over the place. And I was walking through. There was like the main house, and then when you step down, there was a big like hallway that had like maybe mechanical equipment and things on either side, wood shavings all through the floor. So I was kind of traipsing through there. When I was going through there, I think to maybe talk to an owner or a person that lived there, and I dropped a key. And I had dropped the key previously, but it was just a car key. And I was like, I don't have a car, so it doesn't matter. But then I dropped this key, which was the room key to the old place. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to, and this must have been a new place. I wasn't sure that I wanted to stay there. And I was like looking frantically for the key. Then the guy started distracting me because they started talking to me about something. And, I didn't want to stop and tell them, yo, I'm looking for this key. But because then they would come over and just cause more confusion because they'd be kicking wood chips everywhere. So I'm like, wood shavings, they were shavings. Like, it looked like when you sharpen a pencil, those types of things, but maybe a little sturdier. So, but the floor was covered in them like an inch all the way around, and everything in the place was covered with these wood shavings. So I was looking for the key, looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So eventually, I just kind of gave up and was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stay here. So I started talking to the dude. He went to show me where the room was. When I went to the room, there were bunk beds, okay, and there was like an older white woman, and she had like a big gaudy ring, bags under her eyes, like orangish, like that orangish blonde, straw blonde looking hair. It was orangey looking really, and it was short cut, and her eyes were really deeply recessed, and she was wearing like blues, and and she was digging through her stuff, and she was on the top bunk, and I was like, okay, and then there was like a table by the door, like kind of like it is here, by the door in the room, but there was juices and things. And for some reason, I believe they were my juices, but I got them from a place like maybe they had a community kitchen and everybody could get whatever they wanted. And I had it sitting there. And so I was like, I guess I had resolved that, okay, I have to stay here. So I went to go get my clothes. Now, all of my stuff was clean and everything, but when I took all my clothes, I dumped everything on the another one of the top bunks. And somehow, I guess, walking through that hallway with all those wood shavings, there were wood shavings in the room, but I don't think I was the only one that was tracking them in. Somebody else, there was different types of things. Like for me, the wood shavings were probably my fault, but there was another person. That other person, that gypsy looking lady I was telling you about, she was tracking in. You know how you have packing balls and they're these teeny tiny little balls, not peanuts, but little itty bitty balls. There was like tons of those in yellowish green color, like tracked all through the floor, probably through her belongings and stuff. So it was really odd. And I remember like saying to myself, like, where's the broom? I need to sweep this stuff up. So I started sweeping. The whole time I'm sweeping, the woman, again, distraction, is just talking to me. I don't know what she's talking about, but she's talking kind of sideways about the mess that's on the floor or whatever. But I'm just constantly sweeping it up. Um, then there's like, at some point, some guy just made like a cameo appearance. And so I got to a point where everything was swept up, and I went to like organize the stuff that was on the top bunk. When I went to pull the stuff off the bunk, I noticed there was like bugs everywhere. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't have any bugs. There was bugs everywhere, but I'm like, okay, no problem. So I started shaking, and and it was just ridiculous. So I was telling everybody, I was like, hey, if you can, please stop, start stomping. So nobody, everybody was kind of in shock at first, and so I put on my flip flops, started stomp, 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 and then people started joining in, and so I was shaking out all that stuff, sweeping up everything, cleaning it up, and then there was like some type of meeting or something. I went into the place that was like the kitchen, like a little mini kitchen that led out to the dining area. So when I went there, I saw there were some things that I saw like on Pinterest or something on my phone, not in real life. This is all part of the dream, where how to pretend, prepare like a little mini bakery party, and they had these cute little pastries and things like that. And for my own food, I had made the pastries, and I had set it in the kitchen because I was going to come and eat it later. I didn't know they were having a potluck, so everybody else had made these little things from the little Pinterest thing too, but mine wasn't really a part of it. And so I was in there just hanging out after, looking for brooms and cleaning or whatever I was doing. And there was this tall white guy and a couple of other like white Hispanic guys with dark hair. And, they were there, and I didn't know they had started it was like some type, sort of presentation or something. So I started partaking, because I thought they were there for everyone. I started partaking, but I didn't know it was part of the presentation. But I started partaking. I was like, oh, this is good. So I took a little bit of everything. And then other people that was living there followed suit. They did the same thing. And I didn't realize I was on the side of the table where the presenters were. Not presenters, but the people that bought the stuff was. And, but then when I realized it was okay, because we kind of all sat at the table, I don't know if it seemed to be okay. Like I said, based on the experience I had over the past week, I realized that, just because things seem a certain way, it's not what they are. So it seemed to be okay. And we were, munching and talking, and somehow it just evolved into me being in the conference room where the table was long, and there was just a bunch of us. It was all of us were women and different ethnicities, cultures, um, you know, ethnic women. Even though they had light skin, they had dark features, but they were all attractive in some way or another, mostly ethnic and mixed women. And we were sitting there, and across from me, there was a woman that appeared to be white but dark. She had dark hair and, eyebrows plucked, that type of female. And I was talking to her, and the girl was sitting beside her. I have to go to the bathroom again. I felt like I just went. But the girl that was sitting beside her, also had dark features, but she was more humble. The initial girl was very, like girl, like she was a positive person, but it appeared, and she was used to just taking what she wanted, getting what she wanted. But she was very a nice person, but you could tell she was a force. The girl beside her was more like me, more humble, maybe a little more so, more humble, but she was still attractive, mix with like blondish brown wavy hair, like really like strawberry blonde almost wavy hair. And there was another girl that was dark like the initial girl, kind of like the Kim Kardashian appearance, but not as voluptuous. So we're all sitting talking and eating things. And oh, at first when I was sitting at the table, I remember now, um I was sitting there and the guys came, and I felt like there was some sort, one of the men actually had a dominion over everybody that was over there, authority over everybody that was there. And he, the guys just came and was just sitting anywhere, and I really stayed in my seat because the guys were just, powdered donuts, powder and everything all over the place. Like literally all the chairs were covered with like powdered donut powder when they got up. And I was like, all right. And then me and this other dude was talking, but there was like a couple of chairs between us. And then finally he was just like, come and move over here. Just move your stuff over here. So I moved down, and the guy that was conducting the thing, I asked him if he could hand me my goodies. I had like, I don't know, a box of chocolates, a bag of chocolates, and some little gummy things, and just little bags of goodies and stuff. The chocolate one was kind of like what you would look at when you see a Godiva bag, like of truffles or a lint bag. The other stuff was just cellophane bags with, random things. Not random, but not random altogether, but different cellophane bags with different things in them. Um, they were all homogenous in each bag, but they were different. Like, looked like stuff the fruit rollers would be made out of, but thicker or slimmer and stringier. So different variations of that. And so, he handed me the stuff. And as I was sitting there, me and the guy was talking at first. And all of a sudden, everything transferred to all, the whole table, a big long table of females. And me and the dude was just having a casual conversation. And again, he was I call him white, but he's not white. He's dark, but light skin, like a dark Hispanic person would be. Not a dark Hispanic person, but a person that would be still considered non-Negro, but dark, but Hispanic, if that makes sense. Dark hair, but tan, kind of tannish skin, and probably a little older. When I say a little older, I keep saying that, but the same age as me, 40 something probably. And so, um, then, like I said, the table just transferred somehow. Just it all went to all women, different, shades of ethnic women. And then for some reason, the gay thing kept popping up. Like I was sitting there, and then there was a girl a couple of seats down, and I knew that she was gay, and she was talking to the girl that was across from me. And I was just sitting there, and I was completely androgynous in all of this, asexual, non-sexual, like I am now, non. The most sexual it would be like with the thinking, just like I'm creative, so I like to write erotic thoughts and prose and type of things like that. So, but this did not apply to this group. That was something personal and separate. So it was a big auditorium with this big long table, and there was a light coming in. And I had on a hoodie because when the light wasn't coming in, the hoodie was appropriate. But then once the light came in, it was just like South Florida, like when the sun is not out, it's, you know, all right, it's bearable. But when the sun comes out, it's like pitch black, like everything is just like incinerated. And that's how it felt. It's like I immediately went from cool, comfortable to like burning hot, and I immediately had to take off my sweater. So I started taking off the hood and started unzipping my sweater, and I joked that I wanted to take it all the way off, and I didn't shave. So, and I had on like the sleeveless shirt and whatever, and the girl beside me laughed, and everybody else that had on hoodies was taking them off too. And there's a part two to this, but so yeah, so that was where that portion ended. In another part of the dream, going back to that house, um, going back to the house, I'll get to that in just